Hey, it's Anya.
It's your girl, Nadia.
What's up, guys? It's Trent.
And I'm Ramesh, and we are The Community. We're covering the latest in pop culture, politics, and everything in between. Let's get started. Good day, everyone, and welcome to another week of The Community. We have quite an interesting podcast in store for you today, so we're going to dive right in. This past week, the Prime Minister extended our stay-at-home order until June 29th. However, he's made some exceptions. So we're moved into phase 3 of a 5-phase plan, which means that there have been some more exceptions to the rule. How much further or how much longer do you feel that we will be before we achieve phase 5? Do you think that we will achieve phase 5 while on lockdown in terms of having a few restrictions, but we'll officially move into that?
I think we're currently in phase 2.8 because he's been blending and blurring all phases since 1B. We were in phase 1B for at least 4 weeks. And then he said, we are in 1B, but introducing phases of 2. We never officially went into 2. And then Thursday, he then announced that we was moving into phase 3, which we ain't because all beaches are not opened. So we were hoodwinked and bamboozled. So there's no way we could be completely in phase 3. I think that we are like in phase 2.85. And then what I think he's going to do is that to be on par with the rest of the world, because I've noticed that a lot of Caribbean countries and Latin America, with the exception of Brazil, are moving forward with the July 1 opening as it relates to their airports and borders. So I think that he's going to try to be on par and open in July 1 for the airports and hotels. What I think is going to happen is that we're going to remain on lockdown in phase 3, and then legitimately on June 27th or 28th, right before the lockdown emergency orders end, he's going to say, oh, and by the way, we're in phase 5, July 1st. Like, that's what I think he's going to do. If not, I think that the latest we will open will be August.
So for me, one contradiction in this whole new release of announcements are the holidays. So supposedly we are on lockdown for both holidays. From my understanding, a lockdown means that I cannot leave my house for a 24-hour period, whatever is listed on that document. However, based on the agreement, it's saying that I can go to the food store, I can go out for food. What's the difference now between a lockdown and a curfew? Because if that's a lockdown on a holiday, then why state that? Why just not end the lockdown as usual on the Monday at 5 a.m. and just say, if you don't have to? Just stress that if you don't have to, please don't. Because I'm telling you, a lot of persons are going to put grocery bags in their car. They're going to get all those Wendy's bags that they had from lunch on Tuesday and put in their passenger seat and say, oh, I just went to pick up lunch with my family. No, they're going to have party because it's a holiday. They are. So I don't understand the reasoning. I don't know if it's supposed to try and deter persons from going to do it or what, but I don't see it making any sense.
Strategy.
I guess they try to. I don't know. It's wow.
Yeah.
As you can see from my face,
maybe they want to see what people's mindset is like, or maybe like they want to try and I don't know. I really don't know the purpose of it.
Yeah, the planning and communication around it for me was just awkward. Like, don't tell me that I'm on lockdown for a 3-day weekend versus a 2, and then tell me,
but I can go to the food store and get
you
food.
still could do everything that you ain't supposed to be doing. Like, okay. I'm going to tell you, the roads are going to be very hectic and packed on Monday, and then Friday.
Oh, I'm not going out on Monday. I'm actually going to.
I just never go out on Mondays. After the lockdown, that Monday, I don't ever go out.
So I live in the Carmichael
City
constituency.
2000. Whoop, whoop.
And let me
whole other country.
Mm-hmm.
We have been
in
on
phase
5
since April.
Since April. Let me tell you, it's been lit down here. And the traffic that I experienced yesterday I legitimately, I don't know if anybody knows where Adam's Bakery is, right? But if you live in Jamaica, you know where Adams is.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I was in traffic in the back there by Adams, thinking that I was cutting traffic, on the main Blue Hill Road. I cut through by Adams. I was in traffic by Adams' house, like not moving from the front of Adams Bakery house, for 30 minutes. Literally did not move. Like traffic was intense yesterday. I was trying to figure out why, like the gas stations were full. I was trying to figure out if I missed the hurricane.
The Fridays before the lockdowns are always crowded like that, and I don't understand why. Because the other day I went to the grocery store on Wednesday and I walked straight in.
Yep.
It was barely anybody there, and it was kind of like, so why are you guys waiting until Friday?
It's not only that. It's because persons have in their mindset we are on a 3-day lockdown. So because I'm on a 3-day lockdown, I need to make sure I have my provisions because I don't know when I can eat again.
It's like a mini panic.
Right. Whereas in reality, the food stores open on Monday. The restaurants open on Monday. You could do your curbside, pick up and do your deliveries. Nothing really has changed. The only thing with change is you shouldn't be doing your recreational driving, which you shouldn't be doing, period.
Well, I mean, I can't sit there and lie because I'm going to tell y'all now, I recreational drive, like point blank period. Because I just can't fathom walking from my bedroom to my front room to my kitchen to my bathroom to my bedroom to my front room to my kitchen, like for a full 24 hours. I can't do that. So what I tend to do, I hop in my car, I have my mask or whatever, not while driving, and I do like a full circle. Sometimes I'll ride way out east and ride back way out west, just to time myself and see if it really does only take me 15 minutes to get from point A to point B anywhere, and that's all. I want to test that theory. You understand? Because there's nothing else to do. Sometimes I just want to hop in my car, turn on my AC, and smell my Febreze car freshener. Okay? Because I want to know what it smells like again. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I legitimately, throughout the process of lockdowns, have stayed home the entire lockdown time. Like, no. I'm not about to lie.
Well, besides that interesting update, the internet has just been buzzing this past week. It's been a stressful week. We in the Bahamas have been witnessing, and I would say we have been reevaluating as well, racism as a whole. Racism in the United States, and then racism just as a Black nation. So in this past week, we got updates on George Floyd, Amy Cooper, and Tom Austin. So for those who aren't aware, George Floyd was murdered in broad daylight by a police officer who kneeled on his neck, causing him to suffocate. Now, there's been an autopsy release stating that he did not die from any blunt trauma to his neck nor suffocation. I am sorry, but there's no way, if this is on footage and we can see and the man screamed, "I cannot breathe," that I'm going to believe that autopsy. I don't need the autopsy. I saw it. It's visible. I don't need to know what you're telling me versus what I saw.
You know, the issue is about the autopsy and seeing the footage. The issue is their argument is going to be he died from health complications.
That's right.
Those complications would have not been triggered if that man's knee was not on his neck. That's the point.
Right, and it was a lot of, because that man's knee is on his neck, like naturally you would be freaking out in that position, so you're giving your body even more stress. You don't know if he's going to kill you right there in broad daylight. The unfortunate part is that he did, but because of that mental strain and that triggering of stress of, I don't know if I'm going to die right now, like you would be freaking out. So obviously you're going to cause more trauma and whatnot to your body, and the reaction to this person's knee literally in your neck after you have literally said for 7 minutes, "I can't breathe, everything's hurting." Like, why you have your knee in his neck if he's already subdued and it's 4 y'all, literally 4 y'all, and it's one of him is subdued. We don't see his face. People are recording. Why you have to have your knee on his neck? You could simply leave him on the floor, move your knee off of his neck and let that be that. But no, you continue to press until he becomes quiet and unconscious.
His name is Derek Chauvin. I think I pronounced it right. And he has 17 prior accusations of excessive force as a police officer. This is not his first time.
So I want to add another thing. Do you all feel like it's premeditated? Because it has been reported that both Derek and George worked for the same restaurant / nightclub for a number of years. So there was no way that they didn't interact. So do you think that this was something premeditated?
So apparently they only worked together for a year on and off. And it could be premeditated if the police department wants to be objective and investigate that police officer correctly and not be lenient on him because he's a police officer. They can turn that into first-degree murder because that could be premeditated. We don't know because he knew the guy.
Yeah, but the would have started from him having the remember, you have to have your mens rea, so you have to have wanted to kill him like before.
Right, and I was
considering that they called for a force check. I wouldn't say that it was necessarily premeditated. I think it was
at least give a second degree.
Yeah, the third degree. I didn't even know that was much degrees to murder. You kill somebody. You kill someone.
So the other case is Amy Cooper. So Amy Cooper is a Caucasian female. She decided to take her dog for a stroll in Central Park. Now, she took the dog in an area within Central Park that is predominantly used for bird watching. So in this area, it is known by everyone that walks their dog that you must keep your dog on the leash in this area because you will scare off the birds and damage the foliage in the area.
There's also signage.
Correct. So Amy decided, you know what? I'm a big, bad white woman. I am Karen herself. I'm going to let my dog loose because my dog is well-trained. He isn't going to do anything. So I'm going to let him loose because he wants to stroll around the park. So Karen was confronted by an African-American male politely and asked, "Hi, can you please put your dog on a leash?" Karen said, "No, I will not." He said, "Ma'am, your dog is ruining the area. Can you please put your dog on a leash?" "No, I will not." So he proceeded to record Karen, Amy, of course. And Amy got offended by that. She said, "Stop recording me." He said, "I will not. I am so sorry. Can you please put your dog on a leash?" She decided to move closer to the gentleman. He said, "Ma'am, please don't come close to me. Stop recording me." "Ma'am, don't come any closer." So Karen got excited. She got excited. She said, "You know what? I know my rights as a strong white woman. I'm going to call the police and I'm going to tell them you are harassing me and threatening me." And you know what? On footage, Karen did just that. She picked up the phone looking like this. She said, "You know what? I got you. Hello? This man is threatening me. An African-American male is threatening my life and he's trying to give my dog treats. Please come for him."
She was very condescending. And she looked at him and she said to him, I'm going to tell the police that an African-American man is threatening my life.
She was racist.
All while doing this.
Because why do you have to identify the man like that? Why can't you just say someone is harassing?
Because she's aware of her power.
Her privilege. She's aware that if she specifically says that an African-American man is threatening me and probably threatening the life of my dog with his treats in Central Park, that they would definitely immediately think hustler, thug, homeless person. She neglected to say that homie went to Harvard and is an avid bird watcher. Okay?
Right.
He in his own is a rare species. So Karen, you picked the wrong one.
And he's very smart. As soon as she hanged up, he left. And the sad thing about it is, if he didn't leave, he probably would have been. And if it wasn't recorded, he probably would have been dead on jail.
It wasn't. Well, no, it wasn't that she hung up. You know, it wasn't because she hung up. She put the dog on the leash. That's why he left.
Correct. He put the dog on the leash, and furthermore, she didn't even own that dog from a pup. So the shelter that she saved that dog from, she went back and gave that dog because. Remember, if you read the story, none of them reported each other, when the police, none of them were physically there when the police came. But because he posted it, it went viral, and that's how it got out. But no reports were ever filed, nothing. He just posted it because he felt as though that the world should see that this is the life that we live on a daily basis for no reason. And as doing such, she then willingly took the dog back because of the scrutiny that she received online. I need Americans and just the world to know, when you are on camera doing something, I don't care how populated we are, there is somebody that's going to know you. And someone in the comments are going to say, oh my God, that's Trent.
Why Amy acting like so?
And if they could say that's Trent,
like that.
Why you think we ain't gonna find out where Trent live? Why you think we ain't gonna find out where Trent work?
Have all the socials.
And Amy lost her job, and Amy was the head of a department. And during Corona, it really wasn't in the time.
Wasn't thinking straight.
Losing a job like that. And first of all, I need Amy to know that ain't no company about to scoop her up no more, because you ain't about to drag my company down the mud with your 19 or 1800 mindset. No.
And then after Amy, you would think that people would have learned. No. Then there was Tom Austin. I mean, when I say a week, just
his
1 week.
His name is Peter today.
No, Tom. What is the name? Because we have Karen for the women, but we need a name for the man.
Tom.
Name all of them Tom. All of them be named Tom, but this man's real name is Tom Austin, okay? Tom Austin is a businessman in this...
the WeWork building.
So for those building complex.
WeWork is a company that actually utilizes spaces and buildings around the United States where you just rent out their spaces for either events, corporate team buildings, or corporate functions. I've actually attended a couple of conferences where the locations were different spaces so that you don't feel as though that you're cooped up in a boardroom, but all of the locations were actually ran by WeWork. So WeWork would literally own like a basketball court, and they will turn that basketball court whatever you need it to be. They would own literally a conference room. Like, they don't own the building itself, but they own like spaces throughout the building. So instead of you trying to go to that building and rent out that space, you just contact WeWork and they give you it at a reasonable pricing. So I actually like the concept of WeWork. It makes a lot of sense. It's like Airbnb for conferences.
So he had his company, or he worked for a company inside this complex. And he went to the gym facility that was in the building, and he saw 3 African-American males. Rather than going about his gym business and doing his workout, he proceeded to approach the young men and ask them or confront them as to why they were in his gym. They said, we work here, we work in this complex, so we have access to this. No, you don't. I've never seen you in here before. Only people with cards have access to this building. How did y'all get in there? Because you answered your question. You answered your question, Tom. If I need a card to get in this building, obviously I have a card. So they proceeded to say, so we have 2 companies, not 1, but 2 companies in this one building, okay? We are Black entrepreneurs. Tom wasn't hearing it. He said there's no way in hell he work in a building with 3 Black entrepreneurs. It can't exist. So he proceeded to call WeWork to address the situation, and the building supervisor. You know what happened to Tom? His office ain't in WeWork no more. He knows it. So Tom, you get a bye-bye as well. So we say all of this to say, what are your thoughts on racism? Racism both in the U.S. and racism in the Bahamas.
I think for me, racism definitely exists. For those who think that it does not exist, are just being extremely ignorant. I think it's more prevalent in different parts of the world. I myself have experienced racism in 2 countries where I've lived. So I've experienced it in the UK, and I've also experienced it in another country that I will not name because of the pandemic going on. But I've definitely experienced it there. I will say that I have experienced some racism, some imported racism here in the Bahamas. But I think that in the Bahamas, we have various forms of discrimination. I think we have classism. I think we have colorism. And I think we have racism. So I don't think we just only have racism. We are, I don't want to say lucky because all of them are still negative contexts, but we don't have violent acts of discrimination, none that I'm very well aware of, I would say. So that's like the literal skewed positive upside. But we definitely have those versions, and I've experienced a lot. Sometimes it's pretty hurtful too when a lot of times some of it comes from your own race. And I think people don't like to talk about that, but I think that racism and colorism and sexism and all those type of other isms, it's even more hurtful when it comes from your own race.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Totally.
I feel like we're blessed enough to live in a country or in the Caribbean where our countries are predominantly Black, and I think that's why we don't experience racism at the extent of those of African Americans. We don't worry about going out for a jog and being shot by a white guy and things of that nature. But like Nadia said, we definitely experience racism in a more subtle way.
Yeah, so I totally agree with Bothran and Nadia. I mean, it exists in our country and obviously abroad. I mean, it's unfortunate that we have to experience it, but what is there that we can do to make it better? Do you think that it will ever, I guess, I wouldn't say go away. I don't think it will ever go away, but how could we minimize it?
So for me, I think the first step is acknowledging where we're at. So Keke Palmer posted an IGTV message on Instagram, and she made a valid point to me. And it was that slavery was abolished one day, and it was expected that overnight you need to change your mindset. However, obviously that didn't happen. That can't happen. Overnight, you're not just going to be like, okay, all my life I knew that the water was clear. Now I have to put in my mind that water actually has a color. So I feel that because on both sides, nobody has acknowledged that, okay, I should no longer be oppressed. Let me not have that mindset that I am oppressed. And from the opposite side, the slave owner side, I should not diminish these people as lesser than me. I feel like it's still been some training from the abolition of slavery to now that, yes, they aren't as oppressed, however, they aren't your equals. That's still the mindset that a lot of persons have been trained with.
I agree. You're still the persons of color are still the inferior race.
Right. As well as, I don't know if being addressed as a minority helps that case. Yes, I know we aren't.
Correct.
We don't make up the majority of your populace, but we are a minority. We are the same as you. My skin color shouldn't determine who I am as a person in the country that I was born and raised in.
But you do know that racism is learned, right? Because you can put two babies in a room, white and black, whatever, and they'll play with each other. They don't know that, hey, I'm white, hey, I'm black. They learn that, hey, because I'm white, I'm better than you, or this black person is less than I am.
Right. So that's where it goes back for me. It goes back to, I feel like the world as a whole is still in the mindset of how do we change the narrative versus let's change the narrative. We're still in the, I wonder how we could fix this versus fixing it. I think we need to get past the wonder what we could do and just do it. So we all have
do you
ideas
think then that these protests
that.
and everything that's happening doesn't make sense?
Okay,
I'll give you a point on that first.
So racism is systematic and institutionalized. That's not something that can just go away overnight.
Learn behavior.
The parties involved have to come together and make the mutual decision to see each other as equal. And when you don't have the dominant party that's taking these steps to do that, it's going to be harder for you as the minority to get your points across. And when you have people who grew up in homes where they weren't taught about racism, but they're seeing certain things on TV and they're learning how to perceive Black people in a certain light, it's almost subconsciously learned to be racist. You don't even know that you're racist.
Yeah.
You don't even know and that's why in this world it's important to have empathy and listen to understand and not listen to respond and things of that nature.
But it's also important to make sure that what you're posting on social media, because you can't just share and post anything. Because like you said, Trent, someone who may have not grown up with it, they're reading these things on social media and subconsciously they're becoming racist. And
Yeah, I feel like a lot of persons, their learning has transitioned from the classroom to what they see online. A lot of persons gain most of their information from what is online. Some of that information is factual, and a lot of that information is an opinion. Just because it's on a website does not mean it's factual.
Yeah, but
if I'm seeing it constantly,
but the American schools, just to be fair to what you said, the American school system, they don't even teach about African American history.
No, they don't teach world history.
So they're not honest either. You have to literally go online and find viable, reliable sources to learn about these things.
They teach U.S. history, and I need them to know that 1 month out of the 12 months that we have to celebrate Black history is, I don't get it. I need y'all to tell me why y'all think 1 month out of the 12 makes me feel super special in, like, I don't get it. Like, for me, as it relates to Ramesh answering your question, as it relates to the protests, right? I will be honest, I am a little bit conflicted. The reason I'm conflicted is because I don't think that you should tell me how I should express my anger. If I want to burn something down, I'm going to burn it down. Because when you as a person who is Caucasian is singing a song and the word nigga pops up, because you want to say nigga, you say it. Do you not? Okay. So because I want to burn something down, I want to burn it down. At the same time, I really think they should have burned down the schools where the children got to go back to. They never had to do Dollar Tree like that. You understand? Like, I also don't feel as though that they should have burnt down certain places, like especially in their own community.
That's good for Target.
That's good for Target. I'm so confused. Please help me.
But I did see that there was a post where someone said, don't tell us where to burn, don't tell us how to burn, da da da. And the places that were vandalized, some of them actually posted that they were okay being vandalized. They were like, we understand the fear, we understand the anger. What we are going to do is we can rebuild, because we did not die in said act, but George Floyd did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we didn't die. Our business can be rebuilt. We can't bring Floyd back. So I understand that too. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like, I think that protests should happen. I think that
I don't like the violent protest. What are you getting? What are you accomplishing with the violence?
I think it indicates your rage.
I understand you're angry. I get
Martin Luther King silently and humanely protest, and they still fucking kill him. So clearly,
Martin Luther King
what is that going to do? Like, I saw this man got run over by a car. It was just like okay, so you're still killing other people, but you're protesting because someone got killed.
No, Anya, the car situation, the guy was screaming Black Lives Matter, and the racist lady that was driving the Jeep decided to run him over. That's the true story behind it.
Lady who went into Target because they were looting and started stabbing people. So in her mind, this is my thing.
So these protests now are these violent protests now are allowing for racist people to be involved to further kill more people.
So here's my view on violent protesting, rioting, and looting. So the narrative that we already have as people are that we are mad, angry Black people. That is already the narrative that's put out there.
Tyler Perry done even made a movie about it for us women. So, that's what it is.
So
sorry to cut you off, Ramesh. I will say that I have had an interaction where the premise of you dating outside of your race is not to get me upset because they don't want to see an angry Black woman. What's the difference between an angry Black woman and an angry white woman? The fact that we throw hot grits on you, like I can need you to tell me, because
society teaches us that the angry Black woman is the toxic one.
They're more violent.
Correct. But go ahead. I just want to say that.
So I feel that we are feeding into a already poor narrative built around us. That's one. For me, burning down businesses and destroying your city is not beneficial to you. So one of the places, I still don't agree with it, but I understood, was burning down the police precinct. Because that's sending the message that we are angry at that. Mm-hmm. I'm somewhat okay with that. However, for me, a way to protest, and I think we protest half-heartedly. So this week, everybody could be on social media, stand up for Black lives, so call your senator and sign a petition. In 2 weeks' time, nobody's out on the roads, nobody posting anything anymore. However, I feel that if we are protesting to say that we are tired of, whether it be police brutality, whether it is we're tired of being oppressed by white people, then we as a people need to decide, okay, that either means we need to stop supporting white businesses and support Black businesses, or we need to come up with a game plan in how we're going to defeat this. So let me use one instance that's very popular, TikTok. TikTok is a Chinese-owned company. People have already known where Black people stand in China.
Yep.
A lot of Black people use TikTok as a form of entertainment, as a form of socializing, as a form of inspiring. If I am protesting and TikTok is not allowing my post to be seen because I'm tagging Black Lives Matter, or am I tagging George Floyd, or just because I'm Black, then I can just stop using TikTok. That's one way to stand in solidarity and say, you know what, as a Black person, I know my rights and I know my value, so I'm going to stop using this website that does not understand my value.
They've been doing that in a way.
In a way by still posting on the site though, Trent. They're still posting on the people's site. My thing is, I am sure, I can bet my life on it, that a Black person has built an app similar to TikTok, but because it's a Black app and not a lot of persons know about it, it's not being used.
But that doesn't ignite equality. That's still segregation.
It's making a point though, Trent. Do we want to make a point, which is the reason you protest, or do you want to make people feel better?
Well, what is the end goal of the protest though?
Okay,
so that's another thing, Nadia. What is the purpose of looting and burning down things? What is
I think that's the point of what Trent is asking. Trent wants the equality. So Trent's whole thing is that he wants the world to be a melting pot. He are the world, we are the children. I think that's what Trent's point is. So if you're still segregating in your protest, that does not help to bring forth inclusivity. You still managing to keep races away from each other because you're saying that they're not being treated fairly. So I think the question is, what is the end goal? And I think that's where my conflict lies too, Ramesh. Where's the end goal in looting? Where is the end goal in burning down?
Do you know what started the looting?
House. So what is the end goal for your protest? Yes, you were fed up. Yes, you were angry. Yes, you have a lot of rage and hate in you. But what is the end goal? Like, what is the goal?
So you burn these things.
I agree with you guys. I respectfully agree with you guys. I don't think nothing should get to the point where you're burning down buildings and things of that nature. But this is what happened. This is what truly happened. These people were peacefully protesting. Officers came out of nowhere and started spraying them with chemicals and throwing grenades all over the place. Okay? After that happened, then they got fed up. They went to Target to buy milk and other things to combat police officers attacking them. Target rejected them because Target has some affiliation with the police force in Minneapolis. That's why they burned down Target.
So
did you know that? Thank you, friend.
But I'll put a pin in that
once again, I'm not condoning it, but I want people to understand it comes from somewhere. Martin Luther King said it best. Riots are voices of the unheard. They didn't go there planning to burn down the place. police officers started throwing grenades all over the place. They had police officers in disguise breaking things, making it look like these protesters are destroying the place. So they say, okay, if that's the case, then we might as well destroy the place for true.
So what you're saying is, in retaliation to somebody telling me I can't shop in that store, I must rob them.
Would you say?
In retaliation to somebody telling me that I cannot shop in that store, I must rob them. I'm
not saying that's not my point. My point is the media is making it seem as though these persons went out there and their intentions were to violently protest. If we're gonna address the issue, we have to address all issues. Okay? No, they shouldn't have burned down the place. But this is what truly happened.
I'm worried about the burning down of the places, Trent. I don't mind you making your statement. My issue is, once again, us as a Black people setting a bad example in terms of sending a poor message. We are going in stores and robbing them. In Atlanta last night, Atlanta is supposed to be doing their peaceful protests. Instead of them protesting in front of police stations and protesting in front of news stations, they went to Lenox Mall and they went to Phipps Mall. And they broke into Gucci and they broke into Chanel to rob.
For what?
Rob. Why? Because
they wanted that new bag, honey.
Because we are now we are rioting and looting. So why can't get my
What is that doing? What is that doing?
That's definitely wrong. That's definitely wrong.
But that's what it is.
A lot of persons realize, but a lot of persons are going to use this opportunity to actually steal. So you have persons who are in the protest and they are nowhere concerned with protesting. They are literally going to jump on the opportunity to have somebody else break into a store and
get what they want.
You do have actual looters involved in this. You don't have persons who are actually protesting to just break glass. Like, because if you just want to
break those people as well who just excited to go there and break up things.
Yeah. But like when you running out of Gucci with like bags on your shoulders and like you ain't there for the cause.
You wasn't for the protest. You wasn't for the cause.
And I would say
you had a personal reason.
Gucci and the high-end stores were the only stores that they attacked in the mall. It wasn't like they broke up every store in the mall. It was they targeted these places because they knew I need to go home and go on Craigslist and throw these bags up there and y'all can buy these.
I don't mean to be the devil's advocate, but these billion-dollar companies have been looting minorities for years. I'm not excusing their actions.
You don't have to buy from them.
I'm not excusing their actions, but I'm trying to be empathetic with.
I can be
they are going through. Now, there are persons that were there to steal. I feel like those persons are separate. And if we're going to talk about those persons that are there to steal, that's different from the persons who actually retaliate.
Yeah, but we can't
separate anybody in this instance, Trent. We can't separate anybody in this instance because how we are looking at the situation is just how a white person is going to sit down and look and be like, they're not going to say, oh, some of them just riding and then some of them stealing. No, everybody out there is stealing.
Not even that. For you to say that billion-dollar corporations have been looting minorities for years, you are not ending the cycle. Like, this is the issue. Every time somebody puts a but, they deserve it because, or but.
I'm not saying they deserve it. What I'm saying is, this is what happens when, okay, this is what I'm saying. I am not going to attack them for it. I don't agree with it, but no, I'm not going to attack them for it. Because they've been trying to get their voices heard for years, and this is the results of it. You didn't listen to them.
Did Gucci oppress their voice? I need you to tell me.
No. But hey.
So we went off track for a second. What is the goal of the protest? Is the goal of the protest for equality? Is the goal for the protest to show that we are more valuable than we are being portrayed? What is the reason?
What is the goal?
Is the goal
when the persons in Michigan protested because they wanted to get their nails done and they had guns and spitting on officers, the officers did nothing. But the minute the black people protest, it's a huge issue.
And that's why I feel like if you're going to do a protest, people, the violent part, like Remy said earlier, they already put black people in this box that they're violent and evil. So if you're going to protest, be different from what they're expecting. maybe you'll be heard a little bit more. Because at the end of the day now, we're talking about the fighting. We're not even talking about the George, the gentleman that got killed any longer. You see what's happening? We're already forgetting the main problem. We're talking about people burning things down and stealing and, and all of that.
If they're more concerned with buildings being burnt over Black lives in America, then that place has a huge issue.
It's not them. We are, okay, so the main purpose, once again, what is the purpose of the protest? Is the purpose of the protest to get justice for George Floyd's death? Is the protest for us to raise our voice and say that we are an equal race? Or is the protest to say, you can continue to judge us, and because you judge us, we are going to take our power away from you? What is the impact?
The purpose of the protest is to end racism and save lives.
Is it though?
So how does that protest do that? How are we being effective with this? I don't think it's an effective way.
I'm not disagreeing with you guys.
I
am not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying,
I think that it's starting. I think a big part of it is understanding that the minority, as we said earlier, is no longer the minority, because you have your Italians who are persons of color. You have, like, anybody who is not Caucasian is deemed a person of color. And if you do a populist graph, the minority is not the minority. Because if you put all of us together,
they're not there yet.
We're not. We are not the minority. Caucasians are the minority. If you put the minority,
all the other,
we are not the minority. We are the majority. And I think that's
my laptop.
I think that's a voice. I think that's one of the messages that the protest is showing, that we are not a minority. We are a majority. And we can show you what the majority can do. This is not back in when Massa used to whip me. Like, we about to whip our neck around and flick break yours. I think that's a part of the message. I think the message is that we are no longer a minority.
So another question, Trent, you brought up that the people...
Mixed breeds are minorities too. They are not fully white.
Exactly, of course.
So you brought up that the persons that are protesting for the nail salons and the gyms were out had their guns out to protest. Do you think that because someone else does something, not that I shouldn't be able to do that thing, but I should do that thing? So let me be clear. Do you think that just because someone went out and did a protest with guns, that I should go on a protest with guns? Not saying that I shouldn't have the right to. Notice the difference. I'm not saying you don't have the right to, but that I should.
In the United States, once their guns are licensed and they're protesting, they have the right to take their guns with them.
Starting my point.
And they have the right to shoot back if the police shoots. But the system doesn't... Allow me to answer Misha's question, okay?
What do you mean answering straight?
The system does not allow them to safely do that. So no, it's not a good idea to go out there with the guns like the white persons did, because you're going to be seen in a different light. And
that's not my question though. My question is, should I, just because someone else does something, I should do as well?
I just answered your question. I said no.
No, you didn't.
No, you said that you shouldn't because you said you shouldn't because of repercussions. I'm asking period, full blank, point out period. So even if I'm not black, if I am, say I'm white, I am a white person, I am another white person, and I want to go and protest. No, you have. I'm asking you from don't look at me as this trend. I'm asking you a real question. If another white person, if Tom decided he wants to go and protest a gym, and Tom doesn't go out with a gun, but John goes out with a gun, do you think that Tom needs to go home and get his gun just because Sean has his gun?
No.
Okay, so why should it be that we must have guns and everything out because the people who protested nail salons had guns?
This is my thought process, okay? I am a Bahamian black man in the Bahamas, okay? I am not living there. I am not living their truth. They are in a country where racism is blooming. I am not going to sit here and judge or condemn anything that they are going through because I am not living it. No, I'm not saying what they're doing is morally or ethically right. But I'm not going to condemn them for it because at the end of the day, they're fed up. They're fed up.
Yeah, but Trent,
so I don't think you realize that when you say but, it's saying it ain't right, but it's okay.
But I
that's what it is. That's what a but
I understand.
That's what a but is. That's what a but is.
That's
a but is.
No.
A but is. It's not right, but I get it.
That's not true. But sometimes can be. I understand. I want you to know that I understand your pain. No, it's not the right way to go about things, but I do understand your pain and your the adversities that you're facing.
Okay. So let's bring it back home. So we as Bahamians, like Nadia alluded to, we also face some forms of racism and colorism. So I want to use a twofold. So before we bring it fully back home, you as a Bahamian, a lot of Bahamians travel to the US. A, are you now going to be less likely to travel to the US? And B, are you going to be afraid every time you travel to the US?
I'm always afraid when I travel. Not afraid, but very cautious.
I will be more, first of all, Ross misses me and I miss Ross. So I'm going. But I will be more conscious when I go in certain states. I'm going to be honest with that. I never really feel super terrified in South Florida, mainly because I think it's a melting pot naturally. But if I was to head up like how I really want to go to like Utah or Oregon, like I'd be looking over my shoulder, or like Tennessee or Virginia.
Like, no, Virginia, no, I don't know many people like that, but yes.
I'm just saying, like if I go, I'm gonna be a little bit cautious, because I wouldn't know. It's the unknown. I think because we're so accustomed to going to like Florida or in Atlanta so much because it's literally right there. It's a hop, skip, and a jump away. Even New York, you kind of have a certain sense of comfort because you already know where to go, what to do, like you already know that. But in certain places where you want to go and explore and you are unsure, then it's kind of like, let me just put my guard up a little bit just because I'm not too certain what may happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it would minimize us traveling to the US.
Yeah, let's share a story with you guys.
Be a little bit more cautious.
Okay, go ahead, Josh.
My laptop freeze. Hello?
Go ahead with your story.
Sorry, it's very short. So one time we were at the Sawgrass Mall, and my aunt needed to go get her Gucci bag. Her husband finally gave her the money for it, so she went to go get a $5,000 Gucci bag.
I need to hang with John.
And it was me, my cousin, and my aunt. And I didn't want to come with the car because I wasn't interested in going to Gucci just so you could get your Gucci bag. Guys don't really be into that, right? So I said I could stay in the car. So they went Gucci and I stayed in the car. And it started to rain. And a security officer was, I guess he was hired to watch the lot. And he was the watch guy. So he was standing there doing his job. And so it's raining, the car's hot, and I'm this close to an asthma attack. But I decided to stay inside of the car because the first thing that came across my mind was this happened around the same time that Trayvon Martin got killed. I said, if I come with this car with this hoodie on, because I ain't taking this off, I have asthma and it rained. If I come with this car with this hoodie on, this man may profile me and think that I'm in this lot trying to break in someone's car. So I'm going to tug it out with this asthma, stay inside this car until my aunt comes back. And nobody should feel like that when they're visiting another country. So that's my only experience, really.
So you would prefer to die of an asthma attack than to come with the car and breathe?
No, I wasn't having an asthma attack. I was having asthma symptoms.
Okay.
I'm really good at monitoring it, so I know if it's getting out of hand. Okay, I really need to come out of the car.
So for me, I don't ever plan to live my life in fear.
However, did not give you a spirit of fear.
Right. However, I'm going to be cognizant of my environment. So yes, Nadia, I know if I go to certain states that are predominantly known for their racism, no, I'm not just going to be walking out on the road like, hey, what you saying, bro? Hey, give me that. No. However, I'm also don't plan on living my life like say I'm driving down I-95. I'm not going to drive down I-95 looking over my shoulder. Oh, geez, the police behind me. Okay, hold on, let me put my car on the side of the road because I could die.
Flying past them.
You know, I'm not going to be the one who's going to be like, oh, a police walking next to me, let me stop. Okay, he's gone. He didn't come to kill me. No, I can't live my life that way. However, I'm going to be aware of where I'm at. I'm going to always be knowledgeable that, okay, I need to look around my environment and see what's taking place. Is there any strange activity? Is anybody looking at me awkwardly? And if they are, let me remove myself from the situation. Yes, it shouldn't be a situation where you have to feel uncomfortable or you have to remove yourself from situations where you deserve to be. But at the same time, we are in a day and age where, once again, nothing has been resolved. So rather than me cause another problem, I prefer to remove myself. Now, that doesn't say that if I am confronted, similar to the gentleman inside the gym, if Tom was to come to me, all I would do is tell Tom, hey, Tom, not a problem. I do work in here, but to help you have some peace of mind, please call the superintendent, put him on speakerphone, and let's have this conversation. But I'm not going to be confrontational to the point where I'm moving, I ain't getting out of my way, I deserve to be here. Because I don't know if Tom have a gun in his car to go leave the place and come shoot me up. I'm not going to put myself in a situation where that's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying that the people that have innocently been killed did that. They may have followed the same procedures. But I'm not going to live in fear to say, I'm not going to go and enjoy my life. I want to explore the world. And some of those places are in the U.S. The U.S. is not the only place that has racism. It's just one of the places that is predominant right now. It's more communicated and more
out there.
Yeah. So So I don't want us to live in fear about traveling. I just want us to be aware. Now, a lot of the argument. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I don't want us to put them down because they're already down. I know we may not have agreed with the way they did things, but at the same time, who are we to judge them? We are not in their shoes. We are not living their truth. Who are we to judge them? Really? Who are we?
You mean the person protesting?
Yeah.
Now, I also want to make it clear that protesters aren't only Black people. That's not who the protesters are. There are a lot of persons of color, a lot of white people.
White people are fed of the racism too.
Correct.
Right.
It's just, for me, and the argument that I've been going on is the way that you do it and knowing what you're protesting for. For me, if I don't know what I'm going out there to protest for, I'm not going to protest.
Okay. And if you're being violent about it and the violence is becoming what's the main topic, then the main reason for the protest is
ineffective.
Get it away, yeah.
So over here, a lot of persons feel that they feel racism from, I'll use one of our own islands.
I need to tell my mom to calm it down. Sorry.
No problem.
Sorry.
So let's use Long Island for an example. To this day, some persons aren't able to carry a Black man or a Black woman home to their grandparents because that's just not accepted. We're all Bahamians. A lot of Long Island people are married to Black people and have mixed children. However, it's just not seen as something acceptable for them. However, I feel like we brush it off more times than none. Do you think that's okay?
I don't think it's not okay because what is it that you have against a Black man? What is it that you have against your granddaughter marrying a Black man? But they're still both Bahamian.
Mm-hmm. So the question, Trent, was persons of mango skin or
like myself,
Caucasian like Bahamians, you know, who feel that they don't want their children or grandchildren to be in interracial relationships. We tend to brush it off. So I was asking, do we feel that that's okay, or because we don't fight that battle? We just say, these people just out of their mind. But that's okay. We will leave them because that's them.
We brush a lot of things off because we don't really see it as an issue in society.
Like we see it as a preference and not racism. I think we see it as preference.
Colorism.
Right, that's the colorism factor that goes into play there, because the reality is, you said Long Island, but Spanish Wells is like legit. Don't even try. Like it's gonna stay in our bloodline, kind of thing.
The other part, so in the argument that, you know, we do have racism and colorism in the Bahamas, one of the things was that a lot of Bahamians feel that if you are of a darker hue, you can't have a leadership position in a company. I don't personally agree with that, but you all let me know your thoughts.
You may have to work a little harder, to be honest, but I wouldn't say it's impossible. It depends on so many factors. It depends on your position, sometimes who you know, your credentials, the environment, the culture, really, of that particular business. So it really depends on a lot of factors. Generally speaking, yes, colorism is real, but I wouldn't say it's impossible for a darker shade black person to be the head of a company.
It's not impossible, but like you say, it's harder. I don't get, like, that's the thing. I don't get it. Why does the color matter? Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to hire a white man who does not have the experience, who does not have the competency for the job, over a black man just because he's black.
Because society has taught us that lighter shades is more
I get that, but it's just crazy to me.
Society is more prone to, or at least studies have shown that you are more prone to trusting a white man as a CEO of your company than a black man.
I get that.
Okay. Well, all in all, I feel that at the end of the day, we need to love one another. I think love is at the core of everyone's heart. And I think that that's what truly is going to be what fixes racism.
And empathy.
Yes. So I do think that we need to, figure out or establish what is the fight for us to remove racism as something that impacts us as a people, and determine which path we want to move on, versus just trying to, I guess, fight small battles. We need to attack the big war. So love is at the core of it all, and I hope that we can do that piece by piece. Thank you for listening and watching another episode of The Community. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe our YouTube channel, as well as our Instagram channel. And we will be in contact with you again next week. Have a great week.
Bye.